Do you want to make a data store for your Roblox game? Watch this whole video to find out how to make this. Start by making a script in the server script service and call it leader stats. Now let's start with making variables for the services. Let's get the data store service, which will allow us to control the data stores on our game. Now the player service that will allow us to modify their data. Then we are going to make a data key variable. This will store what we want to call our data store. If this is changed, it will reset all of your players' data. This function from the data store service lets us get a data store for us to use using the key that we provided it. This function is going to be the function that we can call to save the player's data. Now a variable that will check if you have a leader stats folder. This will check if they have that folder, and if they don't, we will stop the script. Next is the player key, which will be the unique identifier for each player. Now we are going to make a table that will store all of the data we are going to be saving. This is a loop that will go through all of the items in the player's leader stats and add them to the data table that we made above. Let's make a pcall function that will make sure if something goes wrong when trying to save the data, it won't break our script. Time to finally save our data to the data store using the setAsync function from data store service. For the last part of this function, we are going to make sure that if something goes wrong, that we show it as a warning in the console. Time for the getData function. Let's create the leader stats folder inside of our player using the instance.new method. Make sure you set the name as leader stats, all lowercase. Then parent it to the player. Here's where you want to add all of your data that you want. I'm going to create data values to show you how to make them. Number values are for numbers and string values are for strings. The value property is the default that you want it to start at. Make sure to parent them to leader stats. Same as the save data function, we will make the player key. Another pcall function is needed to make sure that we can get the player data without any errors stopping our script. Next, let's return the data that we get from the getAsync function, which is another function in data store service. Now let's make sure the function succeeded. Next, we are checking if we got a result. Let's loop through all of this data, and if the instance for it exists, then setting it as the value. To end off this function, we are just going to throw a warning if it wasn't successful. Last but not least, we are going to connect the 3 events for the player joining, player leaving, and server closing. Time to test the script out. All of our data that we programmed in are all showing up correctly. Now let me change some of it so we can make sure the saving is working. Upon rejoining, it's all loading correctly. If your script isn't working, be sure that your game is published and has studio access to API services, and it's enabled in the security tab. If this video helped you out, be sure to like and subscribe down below. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.